the sides here. Now NRG on the blue side, APX on the red. Nidalee used to be a red side ban very frequently.
Crucial to note here is now APX can no longer ban Swain, Vladimir, and Ryze. Ryze fell through pick and ban for the second time ever on this patch globally. So we'll see what happens here if NRG actually want to say, hey, we do want to play that champion.
Yeah, well, NRG already taking parts of the strategy off anyway. The early ban on Trundle to not let Ray get the dedicated strong split pusher. A Kindred ban coming through yet again. And I believe that's another red side Kindred ban, if I remember properly. So
yep, they
APX hamstringing themselves.
Last bans on red side were Nidalee, Kindred, and Karma. And now Trundle
and
has
so
been
APX
added.
Taking 2 of the bans that NRG was using.
So now Swain, Ryze, Zyra for Kiwi Kid, which was banned previously, on the table, as well as Vladimir. So there's going to be a lot of things coming through this pick and ban that people are going to be running around for. Rek'Sai also on the table here with 3 jungle bans.
Right, yeah, they're really targeting the champion pools, which also means that, by the way, a first pick Rek'Sai is not completely out of the, out of the possibility here. When you saw the NRG had first picked at red side at first round, so that was certainly a high priority. I don't know if Rek'Sai is specifically first pick worthy, but in some of this context, you can kind of see why you do it. What? The actual ban comes through as Rek'Sai, which honestly I think is a mistake, because you can, I think, bargain the Rek'Sai for like a Vladimir, for a Swain, and maybe they're counting down, right? Like Vladimir's up there, Swain's up there, Zyra's up there. And if that's the top 3, then one of those bans does make sense. You get 1 for 2.
Yeah, but Shrimp is a fantastic Rek'Sai. If they first pick it, then that's great. You baited them into taking that Rek'Sai that you banned away. And what's the difference between Rek'Sai and Shrimp's Graves? You know, that's really the next thing down the tier list.
Gragas?
Might have to go a little bit deeper too. Yeah, the Gragas, I know he can play that champion.
Lee Sin, you know, like...
But at that point, you get a Vladimir, you get
there's
your
a Vladimir,
Echo,
a Swain.
you get your whatever you want, you get the Swain, and yeah, there they go.
Yeah, there's the instant hover on Swain, no surprise. Vladimir, you can see the deliberation on NRG's faces. They said, which one is worth it? We had first pick Zyra before, we know Vladimir's huge, we know Swain's really big. It goes unbanned. They say Vlad is the best of the 3. You guys get the other ones. Actually, Zyra might not even be contested. We're seeing the hovers go back and forth. Swain, I think, has to be locked in here.
No, I think Zyra is a Kiwi Kid support special right now.
Yeah, but then they first picked it one time as though it like was contested. So Caitlyn actually still the grab right here. Lucian off the table. Caitlyn, the early pickup there. APX really wanted to play this champion on Apollo, and I mean, so far he's been successful with it, so I can't complain too much. And Swain for Vlad, the question is which one was better. NRG thinks Vlad was the case, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I think it might be, well, I mean, Quas swapped to Ghost, so it might be a Vladimir top here for Quas, and picking that even over the Swain, so it's showing where his priorities lie here, if that ends up being a champion for him, because there's still a lot on the table for GBM. They could go mix damage here, get themselves... I mean, they could get themselves a zillion and become incredibly annoying. You kill the Vladimir, it doesn't matter. Ever. You put bombs on the Vladimir and he delivers them.
In the Sanguine pool. Yeah, that's always going to be annoying. And right here, I think this is the expected pick right now for NRG. I think both these champions are no surprise to anybody on either side of the draft. The Zyra comes through for Kiwi Kid. And yes, you are getting Gragas out of Santorin. And talking about Zyra's a bit more, I want to, because I really enjoy support itemization. What Kiwi Kid actually ran last night, I was incorrect in my look at the numbers, but he was Hybrid Pen Marks and then Magic Pen both Glyphs and Quints. Which is pretty standard we're seeing from Zyra. They're almost all running just full Magic Pen everywhere. In one of the other series today, there was a Zyra support, and that was a very similar rune page there as well. So, you know, the full Magic Pen Leandri's Rush is what's standard for that champion. Makes it a big damage dealer, which means you don't need as much damage elsewhere. You can play more tanks.
That's true. And Zyra support has always been, you get into the post-game lobby, you look at the damage dealt,
you're probably
like,
at the top.
How? You, like, just the little bit of damage that the plants do add up so quickly, and especially with the spawn rate now on seeds, yeah, Zyra is really good. But Keen, being a little cute, went through all of his champions. We even saw like the AP Malphite in there that he hovered over for a second. But the Echo ultimately coming through. So Swain, Echo, both flex picks can be played top, can be played mid. And we're just looking for a jungler here for Shrimp at the end of the day, although it could end up being a jungle Echo. I do suppose that that is a possibility.
Yeah, but by and large, we're expecting it to be a jungle pickup at the last right here. And there's no rush, and, you know, grabbing it. The Gragas was grabbed a while ago anyway. NRG locking in Ashe for themselves, though. So the Ashe Zyra, the old Cloud9 special. Sneaky and Lemonation would be proud, but Honestly, both these champs I think super strong.
Yeah.
And yeah, it now, even though your support champion is now a damage dealer, will you make your AD carry the utility? And to lock it all in, actually, it will be Vladimir in the top lane with a Gangplank in the mid. And I think this comp comes together pretty well. You've got a nice bit of durability with the Vlad and the Gragas, and you've got so much damage coming out. 4 really big damage threats to lock in the lineup there for NRG with the Gangplank mid, GBM, so good at the champion.
Yeah, and now you have that mixed damage source. You're able to have somebody that you need armor against, so the Echo can't just build full magic resistance. And now the Ashe and the Gangplank side by side. See what happens there. Ashe also coming back into pro play very recently. Became very popular in Korea after MSI and after the patch hit for 610.
Kind of like in the top 5 most common AD carries right now, right? Lucian's up there, Sivir's up there, etc. We're seeing some Kalista still, but Ashe definitely strong, and I'm curious to see as those builds innovate as well. For most of the beginning of the year, Hurricane was the go-to item on her, but we saw some Static Shiv from people as well. Now Lee Sin will be the grab here for Shrimp, so he is getting not the Echo, but the Lee Sin. When he actually played way back in, I think, week 1 of the North American LCS, actually, he played on summer 2016. I forget which lineup it was, but didn't have the best game there, actually.
Yeah, that was on NRG.
Yeah, I think so.
That was on the team he's playing.
Yeah, yeah, and it was GBM who carried him out of a really rough start to the game. Now he's against that guy, and once again in his first match of the North American LCS, this time for the summer split here. And this time is kind of the intended starting lineup here. APX coming in. Well, they've both got these 2 crazy sustained mages here, a Swain and a Vladimir on either side. Long-range marksman with the Ashe and the Caitlyn across from each other. And honestly, it's going to be fun to see how these teams can come out with this one. NRG have tons of damage output overall, 4 big carries. APX more conventional with really 2.
The more I think about it, the more I really like the composition from NRG. There's a lot of global pressure here. Ashe Arrow, Gangplank Ultimate, 2 TPs, only 1 TP on the side of Apex, which I believe it's only top lane. I don't think there was a TP taken in that mid lane. I think it's Ghost and Flash still for Keen, and yes, it is on that Swain.
Okay, well, we'll see how this all plays out. Now, guys, we are here into game 2 of this best of 3, and NRG needs to win this one to pull it out to a 3rd game. So the question is, can they do it? If you think so, let us know. Tweet hashtag NRG win. If you think they can't, if you think it's a 2-0 for Apex, hashtag APX win on Twitter. We are at LL Esports, and we are here into game 2 of this series. This would actually close out the stream on this one as the 2nd match of the day between NRG and Apex. And the question is, how well these teams can play. NRG, for the first 10 minutes, looked like a 180 from yesterday's match. They looked like not even really a team. There's actually an interview that Scar did with Kiwi Kid, and Kiwi Kid was like, that game was brutal. It was, I mean, it was, the whole series was just super rough, and it was terrible. And then the beginning of game 1 looked so much better. NRG were on point. Santorin was ganking. The lane's getting ahead. They were making some cross-map plays. The teleports were in. Right, but like everything that went wrong didn't go wrong, and things that could go right did go right. And it was so nice to see them do really well. And then after 12 minutes, they just stopped, again, being proactive. And the game just stalled out. And once again, we got to see Apex keep their cool, play a solid game. Eventually, Keen went off. Apollo had the most damage in the game that game, just very consistent on that Caitlyn. And Apex was just the better team once it came into the mid-game there. And that's the concern I have for NRG, is we only see small glimmers of hope. Sometimes GBM 1v9s. Sometimes they actually have a good first 12 minutes, but I'm not seeing the full picture yet from NRG yet.
And NRG, they've always had a really rough early game, even last year.
Right.
And now, this team comp really doesn't care. You could have that late game. This is the team comp where you get behind 5K and you go, don't worry, guys, we got late game. We got team fight over these guys.
Yeah.
And they're good. And you go and you look at Apex, and Shrimp is kind of the odd one out in the composition. This Lee Sin doesn't really slate himself in very easily. Oh, he pushed them out so they could just sneak into the bush here, and there's no ward down. Xpecial, he might get the tag.
Gets the slow on Centaur. I don't think anyone's in range, though. Lee Sin
No, they are.
Well, was it going to matter enough? He's going to get the stun, the flash, auto attack, and wow, they do catch him down. That surprises me so heavily, but it does actually land it all. The kill comes through, the first blood against Santorin. NRG, at least once per series, something catastrophically wrong happens in the first level of the game. That is rough stuff. I want to check real quick. Santorin, he did have Body Slam learned at a certain point. I don't know if he ever cast it. I forget. I don't remember him casting it during the chase. You're watching right now, Zyrene, so we can watch it and see what happens. But oh, he had Body Slam to go up towards the river. Comes back from cooldown. Spots Xpecial. Body Slams away from Xpecial. And instead of flashing the wall to get away, he flashes straight forward so that everyone can just walk up to him. So he was a bit greedy on the flash, honestly.
He had gone too far out. He actually started walking out of that bush when everybody on Apex went in from the mid. So he had to body slam back into safety, but they had already seen him and they caught him.
Like, if you played that over again and said, hey, Santorin, you're getting attacked by 5 people, you could have done it in a different way to get over that wall, but sometimes you just don't expect that to matter that much. I mean, how often have you just seen, like, okay, Abram, you hit me, that's cute, and you walk away? 98% of the time, it doesn't matter. In this case, it did, and it's a first blood. The kill did, by the way, go to Ray. So instead of being first blooded, he has first blood himself, 400 gold in the Echo. He gets an extra Doran's Ring. That'll feel good when you're Apex's top laner.
Yeah, Doran's Ring, Dark Seal, whatever he wants.
Right. Like, you already won lane being 0-2 to 3-0. Now you get to win lane being 1-0 before minions spawn. Like, if Ray doesn't smash this lane, something's weird.
That's the curse, though. If you get ahead, you're going to lose that lane. No.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, you're right. Yeah, first blood loses you the lane.
Yeah, the issue is Santorin's having some audio issues, which I thought he didn't play with game sound before. I remember that was a fun fact about Santorin, that he didn't play with game sound.
Well, maybe you can't hear his teammates.
Last year. Yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing the text come through and make sure that everything's hooked up properly. You know, turn it off, turn it on again, make sure it's plugged in. The standard first response when things are going wrong, and if it's anything worse, then we'll keep you guys updated. Maybe it's a computer restart. Who knows? But we'll get ourselves back into the game as soon as we possibly can when everything's sorted out and Santorin can hear his teammates and everything else properly. Now, talking about the overall matchup, you said you really like the champ select. I agree. I think NRG have continued to do very well with their drafts. I like their lineup. Again, that's 4 big carries. Kiwi Kid can hard carry. Honestly, OQ on Ashe can do it. The Gangplank, the Vladimir, certainly all options. We've even seen games where Santorin was able to hard farm really well in the Gragas and be the most farm member of the game for a while and be the super tank. And, you know, all those tools are available. The question is, though, even when NRG pick great late game, they often come into situations where they don't have the ability to survive long enough. Their game 1 loss to Envy, I was casting with Azael, and it's like, well, yeah, they've got the late game, but they lost dragons on cooldown. They lost turrets without even having to fight for kills, and the game was out of hand too quickly. And in this case, the only really good wave clear that NRG has is just GBM, and he can only be one place at a time, maybe 2 if you count the ultimate.
Hey man, Kiwi Kid will get up there too. He'll root the entire minion wave, and
it'll hurt it, but it doesn't. It's not like a Victor Laser or a Sivir, you know. I mean, it's there, right? Like you get the plants up, you get some damage. Kiwi Kid
not having any audio issues,
feeling something,
he's jamming out.
He's actually making his own audio because I don't hear anyone else singing or humming, but something's going on in his ears, and he's a happy man. I gotta say, one of the things I like most about Kiwi Kid, that man has almost a perennial smile. He's a great guy. And he's always got like the fans too. If you guys didn't watch the series last night, I told this story, but in the break between game 2 and game 3, we had asked, who's going to win this one, right, to get the crowd hyped up. And they were like, Kiwi Kid! Just him. Like, there wasn't energy.
He's not a team.
No, he's just going to 1v9, you know. Looks like we have Santorin reconnected now to the game, so his game or computer has been restarted. We'll see if the issues are better this time around.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if there was a remake for this because there was nothing that an audio issue really would have helped him with.
I wouldn't imagine so.
And
either way, it's obviously game of record at this point. So, well, sadly, Santorin's still looking non-plus, something clearly incorrect with the settings right now. So we still have some time to go to talk about this one. We talked about the NRG comp a little bit and talking about their struggles overall. I want to kind of dive into Apex a bit more.
Okay.
So in the first game, they clearly tried to put a lot of emphasis on Ray. Like, what are the reasons that the bot lane tower dive was a 2-for-1? You know, the 9-minute mark or so was, well, Shrimp went to go get Ray a Rift Hero. That was like a key part of their strategy. We've seen games where it goes uncontested. This is a pre-10-minute, make sure it goes on Trundle. And so it seems like proactively this team wants their top laner to carry.
Yeah, and Ray has the potential to do so. Pacer Time was talking to us about it and said that when he plays, he goes off. Like, he's actually a really good top laner. He didn't see play because of the fact they already had 2 Koreans on EDG, like you said at the start. But if that's the guy that they just picked up, and they're able to integrate him into this roster, they do seem to be able to give him resources. I'm going to keep track of this guy because his CS seemed really good. He seemed like he was continuing to just stay on par and that he knew how to pressure and he knew when to, it's funny enough to say, but he knows when to apply the right amount of pressure that he pulls somebody to him and has to give his life up for it.
I think I saw one overstep from Ray. There was the one where like they were going to get the Ocean Drake anyway, and that was a bit much. But yeah, honestly, I'm always a fan of the top laners that play like the right amount of over-aggressive in a way. And the first player I think about this is actually way back with Hotshot GG. Back when he's like playing like the top lane Shogat and the top lane Nidalee. And he's literally dying to let a turret go down. Like, he knows he's going to die in a 1v3, but the rest of CLG is pushing the bot lane. That was like the first I'd really seen like the sacrificial split pushing. Like, normally you think of like, oh, it's a Jax and he kills someone, then kills the turret afterwards. But it was like the hotshot GG style split pushing was, you're going to kill me so that we kill a turret. And that was the first like...
I'm 300 gold. I mean, I guess 450.
Right, yeah, but that's 900 gold and map control. And that was I mean, way back like 2011, 2010 status. Like, that was the kind of the play style. And, you know, props to Hotshot for being one of the pioneers of that. And it doesn't show up in stats because your scoreline is like, well, I'm 2 and 4. It's like, you're 2 and 4, but that 4 is really 4 turret kills in a way, right? And Ray was doing a fair bit of that. Some small oversets, but by and large, I think he's been, you know, a great split pusher. You saw them early pick Trundle for him for the matchup before, and now they've given him the Echo, which is, in many people's opinion, you know, the top laner. Maybe it's Maokai, but maybe it's Echo. And double doors are going to start his laning phase. It's got to feel real good.
Yeah, it really depends on the composition you're running, and I think that Echo slates into this one well. You can actually double up with the root from the Swain, and also the stun from Braum. So I think that Ray's in a really good position to slate into this team, like I said, but Shrimp is kind of the odd one out. This Lee Sin is kind of just an early game jungler that you have. Yeah. And the kickback is a little bit appeal, but you want to run into the enemy team with this comp with your solo laners. You want to run into them. You want to get on the GP. You want to get on the Vladimir. Maybe he kicks the Vladimir away, and that's the other thing.
So of note, Keen, I believe, is running Deathfire Touch on Swain right here. I don't know if that's actually typical for the champion. We haven't gotten to see it a lot in competitive, but the little red mastery mark showed up when he landed Torment on his opponent, so looks like going for the heavy burn damage here. Plants coming up. OQ and Kiwi Kid really trying to push back Xpecial and Apollo. In the previous game, the Apex duo had won the bot lane, the 2-on-2 matchup. We are now with quite a few different champions in a different situation. Ray actually was part of the lane swap and now has to teleport down to the bot lane to be part of this fight.
So Ray gets a Doran's Ring. He starts with Shrimp on the top side, and he gets donated 1 jungle creep, backs, buys another potion, and then TPs in. So he had 3 potions when he arrived to this lane. He's going to immediately start bullying Quas because he has EXP advantage from the first
Level
blood.
2 surprises him with the level lead. Look at the damage up that he got there. Ray saying, this is exactly the timing I want to go for. It's before you think it was going to happen, and there it is. Quas, though, getting his sustain back up.
Refillable.
Tags the minion, yeah, and refillable potion boots his speed. Just, of course, he had burned his own teleport to get in the lane as well, and we are now into the matchup. Keen pushing aggressively into GBM, but looks like the Gangplank will have the better farm. Missed the parlay there.
Yeah, a lot of minions to be picked up here.
Yeah.
And this is what's going to happen with Gangplank. You just want to play safe. You want to farm up. He gets that bonus gold from the parlay anyway, so helps him scale.
Yeah, shouldn't be too hard for him.
In the top lane, though, it's just constant pressure. OQ and Kiwi Kid, you were talking about the interview that he did. They like to play that like there's no jungler.
Yeah.
They constantly shove, and that's what the Zyra is. The Zyra is constant pressure. They both like to do this. They both like to be underneath the enemy's tower, shooting them, harassing them, trying to win the lane.
And what's a Braum going to do to stop a Zyra from doing this? Keep in mind, the Flash is already burned by Xpecial to get the level 1 advantage, to get the first blood. Centaur now looking for a bit of vengeance in this one. And coming to support his team as they've already been pushing in. Braum, yeah, he Qs a minion, then takes more plant damage. There's 2 shots right there.
Whittle them down.
Life is sad.
The simultaneous death scream.
30 to 15 in minion. Santorin did not choose to actually go for the dive. They couldn't get enough damage dealt to make it worth the time and the effort.
Yeah, but I mean, do you really need to dive them when you're almost double their CS already? Just keep doing this, and then eventually you'll chunk them out of lane. Out of sustain, no potions on both members of the Apex bottom lane.
And not only are they up, you know, 15 CS, but they've already, as you said, burned through the 4 potions that Apex came with. That's another 200 gold of consumables that's now been drunk and will never come back in right here. So NRG honestly crushing this lane. It's not going to get any better for Apex. And so far, yeah, Ashe Zyra continuing to be so annoying. Apollo actually still had aggro from that Thorn Spitter. Took a volley to the face as well, and he's just running out of HP.
Yeah, they need Shrimp here pretty much now. They see Santorin mid trying to help GBM out because he's low on mana and HP and needs to back. But meanwhile, on the top side, Shrimp walking around. You can see
no ward to see him.
Hanging out there. There's a ward inside the river, so they're going to see him as he leaves. And he'll know that he's spotted. Because
this is the time to go. He's been spotted by the ward. There's the retreat from OQ. And will they reach Kiwi Kid? No, they won't. He just ward hops away and says, well, we kind of helped you get some CS, but...
Wait. No.
But Shrimp now actually taxing the wave. They're pushing in to really go for the play into OQ. They're going to land a Q and an auto attack, but nothing else. That was honestly a bit too aggressive. I didn't see that ever working, and now Shrimp rooted up, takes some more damage.
Yeah, it was too aggressive because Shrimp had used his Q on a minion and took it.
Right.
If he had actually had it for when Special tagged, then he would have been able to get close enough to maybe force a flash out. We'll see what happened. But, or we'll never see what happens.
Ray's still dueling battle, though, with Quas right there. And you see that Quas actually getting the advantage into this one. +8. Santorin around the backside as well. And keep in mind, Ray is very low on health and suddenly says, there's a Gragas behind me. I don't want this kind of present. Can you please get away from my lane? Uh-oh. Santa knowing all about his presence. And
Easy to
yeah,
die,
Ray
too.
misses the shield. There's the flash. There's the solo kill. At the very least, no gold to Quas, but a great gank comes through all the same. And that's a lot of golden XP missed by Ray.
Yeah, at that point, Ray, they weren't going to reach him in time. It was too late. Santorin was able to sneak in there, and then he had enough damage, no problem. And if Quas pushed the wave up, Vladimir's one of the easiest champions to turret dive with.
Yeah. Well, Ray making the right choice to die before it was too late, I guess. Level 6, though, on this Vladimir. Quas going to feel pretty good. Up 19 minions even before the kill comes through, or I guess after as the wave gets pushed out. But once again, NRG doing a great job in the top lane. This time around, actually, I think it's an advantage that Quas can keep. And that honestly bodes quite well for NRG's chances this game.
What'd I tell you? You get first blood and you're going to lose.
And there you go.
You're winning top lane, you're eventually going to lose. You're going to rubber band back on you.
Yep.
But yeah, Echo has a lot of matchups where if you actually play too aggressively, you run out of mana, you put yourself in bad positions. And speaking of bad positions, Kiwi Kid.
Way too far up. Somebody heal Perm. There's the flash. The Ignite is on as well. The chase, the follow, the damage up, but not enough to kill him off. But he's still losing a summoner spell. 2 burned on both sides, actually. Kiwi Kid losing his flash. The heal down from OQ and Special burning both of his.
A lot of pings around mid lane.
Yeah, we'll see if anything happens there on that side of the map. Shrimp wants in. He was spotted by a ward as he walked into this part of the map, though, so shouldn't be any real surprises for GBM.
And just playing safe, playing Gangplank to scale, not to be incredibly aggressive. But that seems to be the opposite for Ray. Ray just keeps trying to stat check against Quas, and he keeps coming up a little low. He's going to do it over and over again, but Ray is actually going to start losing it. He's just, every time he goes in, he's just going to take poke, harass, and slowly get whittled down.
Yeah, one of the big parts is the Spectre's Cowl's not done for him yet, so all that sustain he would have liked to have just doesn't come through right now. He's just too short on gold to have the item in. Meanwhile, that is already done for Quas, and he's just fine. And now the push in from the Spectre, who's missing summoners with the knockback. Yeah, it doesn't actually push him back in because he got the shield up, so now it's Santorin flashless on the wrong side of the fight, and Ray's teleport coming in maybe just in time. Jumps over the wall, still gets the damage and gets him off. Just completely blocked all the options for a body slam, takes him down, 2-1 Apex.
Keen looking for Quas here. Gonna try to use the Swain against him, but everybody's here.
Quas has to run, though, and he's getting slowed repeatedly now. The attempt for Keen to chase this one down. The kick into the wall, the damage of it coming across. The heals don't mean anything. And Quas goes down. Apex finding 2 kills now.
Apex, once again, turning it around. This has happened so many times in this game, the last game. Something looks really bad for Apex, and they're able to either go even or get an advantage from the fight. It seems like NRG, when they find a fight, they overcommit. They're putting too much into it, and they aren't calculated about it. It's just kind of throwing themselves at the fight, hoping that they win.
And it's kind of what it feels like. And the poster child for that is Quas, who teleported in, got no assists, just died for arriving. I mean, that's not something you ever want to do as a teleporter. You just stay in your lane instead. So rough stuff. Again, still misplays for Quas, and it's heartbreaking to see a very beloved player, but just not having a good game.
Yeah, Santorin goes in, and then he gets TP'd on. He already used his body slam to get there.
It's a bad ultimate anyway. The shield was up.
Yeah, and then the ultimate comes down as well from GBM to try and do some damage to Ray. So he's just trying to save him at that point because GBM doesn't have his own TP. But Keen was already roaming down there by that point.
Yep.
The play in the first place was not a play that Santorin should have been making unless he had a way to completely blow them up. Quas just gets taken out.
Single pool still on cooldown. The chain still worked quite nicely to keep him from moving anywhere. And, well, Apex, look at this, 700 gold up. And despite how bad the 2-on-2 was, how rough that lane was, we saw the beginning of it, Apollo's actually up 1 minion right now. So they've managed to completely turn around something that was super, super rough. A terrible lane matchup, all things considered. And, well, they're sitting on a couple of assists. Special on 3 assists himself, and really, really turning all this around. We can see what's happening in the mid lane, and it was GBM trying to help earlier. Has to eat an orange, has to run away from a big, scary bird.
That fire touch.
Yep.
Yep, looks like that's what he has. Rocking that. Makes sense. But yeah, he has to push GBM out because it's Rod of Ages to Sheen. GBM is basically sitting on, he's sitting on 2,000 gold.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You were exactly right, Zyree.
Yeah.
That was solid. I checked, I was like, did you already look? I didn't see you press that button.
Last time I looked, it was 1,600, so I took a guess.
You were really good at guessing. Well done. By the way, though, GBM really getting worn down, though. Keen wearing a blue buff. GBM has one, but... Oh, man. Shrimp nearly goes for the kill right there. Good teamwork. Keen walks in, says, you can jump to me. We'll be friends.
And now that they see the duo lane top, they know that they can take this Ocean Drake for themselves. So Apex are going to pick that up. As Shrimp joins to have the smite nearby, and Swain, Keen just continues to push mid lane out. I think that the way that this game is going right now, Apex, they need to keep this lead. They need to actually balloon this lead because the composition from NRG is just so scary. It's incredibly scary. If Zyra starts getting gold, Ashe, any of these members start getting any kills, it's good. Even if the support does.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, there's plenty of good scalers here. So I think as Apex, you have to keep that pressure up. You have to keep going. There's always that threat of a late game, but honestly, we've not seen a lot of late game coming from NRG. They've made one happen, but more often than not, they're just getting overwhelmed, and they keep getting overwhelmed when the game ends. And hopefully turn it around. GBM pops the ulti.
Just to clear the wave.
Yep. Through the bot lane, and it didn't mean anything. The turret goes down anyway. He gets the farm, congratulations, but Apex still get the objective. One turret for them. The top lane still being attacked, and there it goes. You see the announcement right there. Red turret destroyed. NRG's duo have knocked that structure down, so at least a trade is not bad for the team that's currently losing and wants to stall for late.
And it looks like 3 members of Apex are coming up from the bottom lane after pushing in that turret.
Uh-oh, Quas. They're almost behind you.
Almost, but they aren't going to go for it. Instead of rotating around here, but look at this Kiwi kid coming down. It has a flank onto Keen.
Watch for the arrow because they're going on to Keen right now. Plenty of damage onto him. A couple of roots back and forth. The plants were there for a bit. Looks like nothing else gained. And Keen was able to walk away safely. Nothing quite grabbed. Ward control going back to NRG now in this jungle. The pink ward that was recently placed by Apex has been killed. But they're playing for the red buff. They get that onto Shrimp. Nice pickup there. And it's like, hey, buddy, can I jump to you? Yes, thank you. And this time around, Keen really does get grabbed up. He's got nowhere to go. Kiwi gets the lockdown. OQ had the arrow as well to land. The two of them take down the Apex mid laner. Well played.
I believe that's his first arrow of the game as well. He hasn't been going for those cross-map ones. He's just using it for that lockdown onto the Swain. And that's it. But, like I said, the kill's going over. Very important. Whether it's Kiwi Kid.
Oh, wow. The
oh,
three-step process of knockups there as well. OQ's going to die. The Q into the ward hop, into the flash, into the kick, into the Braum. Beautiful stuff. The trio take down OQ.
And Shrimp, I mean, you talked about his performance on Lee Sin on NRG. Afterwards, I remember Saint talking about, well, he really doesn't actually have that type of performance on Lee Sin. He's much better than that, right? And I clearly remember in that game, he was going for that play pretty much every time.
And died.
I remember kicking it. He had, there was an Echo Fox game or something where he kicked a Malphite, or he like won against Froggins and Ivia because of a kick.
Okay.
Remember that mid lane fight?
Okay.
And then GBM was able to follow up. So Shrimp actually is a good Lee Sin player despite his score lines that he had back when he played on NRG those 2 games.
How do you predict that as OQ? At a certain point, you've got to realize you've got a flash, but like, he's like, oh, he queued to a cannon minion, okay.
Yeah.
And then suddenly like, wait, he's behind me and I'm dead.
It's too fast, so you have to anticipate it.
Yeah. Once he's pressed flash and R, it's already too late, but it's like, once he ward hops forward, you have to flash when he's still not behind you yet. Like,
and that could even just be a juke.
Do you really just flash a ward hop in front of you? Like,
yeah.
That's insane. So, I mean, props to Shrimp. OQ, sadly, his flash didn't bring him to safety. Good follow-up by Apex. And now 4-2 in the kill score. 1,000 gold up. Great pressure in the mid lane. GBM just gets rid of the wave, though.
So the builds here for the 80 carries, Apollo, he ended up with Pickaxe, went into Recurve Bow, and then he finished his Runeance Hurricane. That's fine. Essence Reaver first for OQ over here.
I think that's fine as a first completed item. It's just starting to go for CDR. I'm curious about a second item, though, because I've seen Hurricane, I've seen Static Shiv, I've seen a lot of different options. But I don't see Essence Reaver that frequently out of Ashe, but personally, I like it. The high CDR, more arrows, more hawk shots. Let's be more of a controlled style, because he's got damage on his team anyway. He doesn't need anything but CDR.
Yeah. More CDR on Ashe, more cross-map arrows, more playmaking opportunities, and that's what they need. If you look at the engage on the side of NRG, it's really that arrow, a little bit of lockdown from Kiwi Kid, and then Santorin has to put his body at risk too. So if you can get that cross-map arrow, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill.
Really, almost any of them. Absolutely the case. So things to watch out for APX. This game, though, still pretty close. 1,000 gold difference in the ulti in from GBM. The arrow, okay, a bit unwise, but it buys enough time for this turret to take a bit more damage. Now Shrimps are on the backside, so is Ray, and the blow up! Oh, OQ's already dead, and it's time for a little bit more. A nice explosive cast buys some time, but it puts Keen right on top of the team, and there's the rest of them as well, and down goes GBM. He's all over him. Now Quas forced to run away as well as Zyra ulti to disengage. Kiwi Kid maybe could have used that earlier, but a 2-for-0 advantage. Apex choosing to go in and making the engage work.
And they get to go back to mid lane, clear it out, push it up. They have the Caitlyn. You can put down the traps, and he's just going to continue to poke, try to get them off this turret as they zone from the side and from the front as well.
Yeah, Ray really happy to run forward, just get some damage out, get rid of the minion wave. Delay as little as possible. Turret does go down 2-1 now in that score. Apex pushing farther ahead. Hey, even having the Ocean Drake when you're playing like this doesn't suck. Getting your health bars back up.
Oh.
Especially Swade is going to burn through so much mana in a team fight.
There's so many pings right now. Rift Herald, do Rift Herald, get on the Herald.
We've got 3 minutes, hurry.
Yeah, looks like Ray wants to clear out the top side. They're going to prep the area and maybe take it, but Cloud Drake is in 20 seconds. You can see GBM used the ultimate. That's 2 ultimates used there, which are great counter-engage tools.
Yeah.
GBM now no longer has it to throw down in this fight, and OQ just gets picked up because he doesn't have anything left self-kill-wise, and Kiwi Kid off on the side can't really do anything.
Slowly running away. Now Kiwi Kid's here as well. Do they have the damage? Because GBM's starting to get worn down there, but Keen just doesn't have the health bar. He's still healing up, but he should be dropping, and yes, he does. GBM gets it with the crit from his pistol. And a little bit back now for this team. He's got that Trinity Force, he's got the pickaxe, and GBM can try to become that late game threat.
I'm actually very surprised that Keen was down there past the midway point, because you just have to shove it up a little bit, and then you can get that Cloud Drake and pick up an objective. So it was an overextension there, and if you look at the top side, that frees up Quas to actually push his side pretty far up.
All right. Well, a bit of breathing room for NRG, not a bad thing. Yes, Gangplank prints money, literally, so the gold lead is in some ways worse than you might think, but enough map control goes to NRG that they do manage to pick up one of these objectives, and the double teleport team now has better rotational speed as well. Next Drake will be Ocean.
Oh, Rift Herald, though, on the opposite side has been started up. It's going to be Shrimp and Ig Special. This is like old Rift Herald. These are the 2 people that you would use to get it, so you don't waste anybody else's time. Supports aren't really picking up any CS, junglers at the same time. And then the top laner comes in and becomes a scumbag to take the buff.
Ray deserved it all along. Great mechanics. And here we go yet again.
I actually see it divided. Some people give it to the top laner.
Yeah.
Some give it to, if you're going to have a split pusher, you give it to the top laner, or if your top laner's behind, I see a lot of people do that as well.
To keep him afloat in the matchup?
Yeah, but
okay.
Sometimes I see it given to the jungler because it works on jungle camps. So you increase the speed of their clear, and they are able to get around the map just seconds, like half a second earlier per camp is enough to just start adding up and get you far ahead.
And keep in mind the chance that it's going to be stacked up before you get into a lane for a gank is pretty high, so you hit a turret, you hit a champion with it, and you actually can use that effect as a jungler when coming across the map. So
yeah, the question I have
see the use.
Question I have, though, is they gave it to the Echo versus the Vladimir. Is it enough to tilt the matchup? Because right now, it's basically Quas having free reign in it, and every time that Ray tries to trade, he's using mana to do so. He's taking a lot of damage as he tries to retreat, and Quas just gets to stand there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be hard. You're going to see him walk in, get a bit of damage down. Okay, Quas lost a third of his health bar. He'd have been stunned here as well for Ray, and Quas has to kite away from that one, but then heals himself back up. Ray in one more time, but, well, there's a turret, so you can't get any farther. And Quas will have the empowered heal in a second. And yeah, he took some damage, but whoop! Health bar goes back up, and Ray still. You can see he's intently trying to wear him down. I just don't think it's going to mean enough.
Well, here comes everybody else.
Yeah, here is everybody else. And, well, Special gets the slow. And so never mind, Santorin's here. Just kidding. We didn't mean it.
It's just a
turret will take damage, though.
Gets the blue buff. starts walking up, but this is going to be the turret going over to Apex. And Floss is
Maybe not just yet.
stick around. That's a big overextension.
Quas in a bit of a 1v4, trying to buy a lot of time. Keen on top of him. There's the ulti in for a special, and Quas heals himself yet again. But Keen is tanking a quick ulti out from Ray, and the turret goes down. Where was his backup? Were you not choosing to defend the team or not? That turret was going to die anyway. Okay, they get mid-outer, but overstepped by Quas for sure.
You did not need to delay them that long. You could see, like you said, that mid-outer was going to go down given enough time.
Ugh, rough stuff. Quas, 0-2. He had a very large minion lead over his opponent, plus 19 or so. I mean, significantly ahead, and now he's down 20. And
yeah,
0-2-0.
I don't know what you want to say. That's still not how we did that in 2015. So, Quas being out of the game, not too much of an excuse in this one. I don't know if he's. I think he thought he may have been able to actually kill Xpecial and maybe Ray, but it was just
That's
really overconfident.
So greedy. That really does seem greedy. So rough stuff there,
Yeah,
Quas.
Hit level 18, then maybe he'll be able to do that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. 7 items would have done it. Well, you're 20 minutes in. Well, yeah.
It's like those times that you'll relate with this. You play a Vayne game, you get 6 items, and you're just wrecking everybody, and then you start a new Vayne game,
And I tried a 1v3 and died connected.
and you're like, ah, oh, my.
Yeah. That's just. You could have just said you play a Vayne game.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Everyone knows what those Vaynes are like. You say the name of the champion and we got it.
You come back, you're like, my attack speed is 1/4 of what it was before.
Yeah.
This feels awful. But you still play like you have 2.5.
Yeah. Which means I miss my auto attacks. I tumble early.
Cancel all of them.
It feels so, because like the third one means so much too, and you're like, oh, I queued up Condemn already. He's out of range. Okay, I lose.
Random aside, there isn't a whole lot of things in our game that actually scale the feel of a champion like that.
Yeah,
like
attack is one of the very few.
We have to reset your mind. Just be like, okay, that was the cadence between autos.
You ever try to orb walk against a Nasus or a Frozen Heart? You will miss your first 3 auto attacks before you realize what the new attack speed is. It's actually really rough. Well, right now though,
Us too.
yeah, sure. At least that one's like really obvious that it happened to you. 3,000 gold lead though, Apex. We get back onto the topic of the game right now. It's Xpecial tanking up a couple of attempted roots from Kiwi Kid. A bit early for Halloween, but it's okay. Level 10 on the Zyra is holding a level lead over Xpecial's Braum, but doesn't mean too terribly much. Zyra's not that level dependent, to be honest. Instead of watching these teams continue to jockey for position.
It's just kind of time dependent now. If you're able to hold an area for long enough and get enough seeds, it's kind of similar to the way Alawi was on release. Now Alawi's a lot different.
Yeah.
You're able to actually get a whole lot more with your vessel. Dyrus thinks it's secret OP. I tend to agree. Now, it's seen enough buffs. Blame Skarsgård.
Yeah.
He probably wasn't in charge.
611 Allow is probably pretty good, actually.
Anyway,
here we go,
duel.
Ray. Yeah, stuck in a 1v2. Not, I guess, a duel. I don't know if NRG read the rules, but duel implies a 1 versus 1. And so GBM leaves and says, you're right, Quas, have your duel.
And then he starts walking back.
Shh, they don't know that.
They really want to get this, though.
Yeah.
Baron was cleared out. There isn't much vision from NRG on that side, and Quas has continued to shove up the wave and threaten Ray.
Right now, actually, both teams have a ward on Baron each, so there's no chance for that to be a threat. And so, yeah, why not dedicate your resource over to the Echo?
Yeah. Had a...
An invisible blue team ward and a blue trinket red team ward, if that makes sense to you.
Yep.
Shrimp, once again, with a red buff steal playing on the bottom side of the map. Ray's pushing enough that he feels safe to counter jungle down there. And it's just these slow advantages. 3,500 Apex is ahead. Next break spawning very soon. That will be Ocean. And something I think is cute about this, by the way. You remember all the talk about Ocean? You know, is he going to be there? Is he going to be? Is he not going to be?
Yeah, that
then we made Aurelion Soul.
That dragon.
Then we also made Ocean Drake. And Apex killing it right now. We made the champion twice.
You're welcome. Everybody, you're welcome.
Yeah.
It's in the game.
We actually snuck it in. History of a Dragon champion. Also a neutral objective.
Lamau Shin.
Exactly.
Oh, man. That one was okay.
Thanks.
That one was okay.
Thanks. I thought of that during the last one. I was like, I should wait till it actually spawns. And there's downtime, which there has been. Apex playing very slow measured advantages. And I'm curious to see when the next major push comes in. OQ has Executioner's Calling. Good job, OQ. You're the best. You've built that against Swain. We haven't seen that yet from Apollo on this Caitlyn, but I assume it's got to be next ramp. No, it's Quicksilver Sash. You're on a tight leash here, Apollo. You got to be careful. There's a Vladimir, and they're scary. He doesn't have it just yet. No Morelos either from any of the mages. Although Morelos has the new, or the old Athene's passive, where on kill and assist you get mana back, which makes it quite good on someone like Swain, I feel like. It's ironic because he self-heals, but he wants to buy a Grievous Wounds item in some cases. But I realize like Swain's also really want to build tanky, so you wouldn't build like a raw ability power item almost at all.
Yeah, mostly you are you're using the Catalyst passive.
Yeah. And again, another attempt right here. It's Ray playing hyper-aggressive in the face of OQ and Santorin. Gets arrowed and then doesn't seem to really care. Mercury Treads makes him, kind of ignore most of the stun that comes out of that Ash arrow. OQ, his second arrow of the game. No, sorry, his third. He had one that killed off Keen. He had one that missed on the mid lane. There's his third that was shrugged off by Ray. At this point, why even build cooldown reduction? You can get cooldown growth and you'd have the same number of arrows.
It's the next mechanic in our game. Stop spoiling.
Make
somebody's abilities go on cooldown. Anyway.
That's called silence.
That actually,
that's called silence.
Fair.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Only one champion has that now. I think it's just on Kassadin. Not Kassadin, sorry, Malzahar.
No.
Who else has it?
Fiddlesticks.
Oh, you're right, Fiddlesticks has
Soraka.
it. Okay, I'm wrong. I was off by literally a third. Like, it's 3 times as many as I thought it was. It's probably even more. I'm ashamed. I used to be a Fiddlesticks main too. I'm sad that I forgot about that. That ability like basically never changed.
It's still on there.
Yeah, I know. I'm just dumb.
It's annoying.
To fight against it, and it like triggers the freaking runic echoes, so it just hurts you so badly.
Oh my god.
You can't run away from it. That crow just like, I'm gonna kill you, and it does.
Man, first Braum, now crows. Everybody's got this voice.
Is that not how crows sound though? Let's be real. Prove me wrong. Crows sound like that?
No. Listen to Swain.
He's not a crow.
His ravens.
Also not a crow.
They're close enough.
What?
Can you tell the difference between a raven and a crow when you look at them?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Fiddlesticks has one.
None of this matters.
Swain has the other. You know what? Speaking of crows, here we go. Ooh! Bullet to the face. Kiwi Kid has to heal himself back up. 500 gold down the drain for him. Going towards his next few items. Ooh, Root almost has a Santorin. Getting chunked down to half HP as well. He's got a retreat. Apex still in control of this map, but OQ does have Enchanted Crystal Arrow back up. There's always a chance to turn it right back around, find the engage, find the knockback, and find the kill. But it's been NRG. Really, the only one pulling the trigger is GBM. That's just on barrels.
Yeah, GBM's been scaling though. GBM.
True. They don't really have to mind waiting that badly. And I think, thankfully, for NRG, Apex are getting Drakes that aren't as good late game. Ocean Drakes are much better early on, so this sort of double Drake stack doesn't really mean anything. And there we go, another one down the upright. 3 points for OQ, really acclimated to America well, but he's just not landing on any targets. Ray diving in, pops the ulti, but now he's got to run. He's dangerously out of health. And will they find the kill? They actually can't. It's Santorin who's actually sectioned off. Notice the team will not chase through the kill on Ray. He bought enough time for a kill to come through for Apex, 8-3, and their eyes are on Baron.
I don't even know why Santorin was over there. Now the smite is down. Apex, they're pretty free to go towards that Baron. Ray is the only one, but he has TP.
Yeah, he can recall and teleport back. Exactly. 2 pink wards down right now, and Hawkshot or not, Apex say, I dare you to fight us 4v5 without smite. GBM's ulti is down, so is Enchanted Crystal Arrow, so is Kiwi Kid's Stranglethorn. So what are you really going to find on this one? Again, Hawkshot comes through. GBM looks for the barrel. Damage onto Apollo. Burns the heal, gets a shield as well. And they're not killing Baron fast enough, actually. These guys are running out of health. Apollo's nearly dead to Baron Nashor. Takes the Mikhail's heal from Xpecial. Ray to chase over the wall, gets the solo kill on a Kiwi Kid. And now the fight has begun 5 versus 4. OQ has nowhere to go. Keen is just all over their team. And this is going to be another 2 kills picked up. 3 versus 0. Easy.
Rather easy for them, but Santorin back up. And they were able to just stall it out and still turn it around. Quas, speak of stalling.
Yeah, trying to run away, healing himself, running for dear life, but he's just got nowhere to go. Look, Santorin's not going to help you. There's the kill picked up. Make that now 4 in a row. 5, you count Santorin was dead earlier, and this should be actually a much more secure Baron attempt where Santorin, I guess, could try, but it'd be pretty futile.
Yep, they just blew this game wide open here. 3 levels up for Ray over Quas. Just dominating this top lane.
Right, they gotta stop him.
Yeah, Xpecial did it before, gonna do it again, and Ray, he knows the stun's gonna be off now. Baron, right in range.
Cast,
oh, he gets stunned.
600 health. Yeah, good chain of stuns. Shrimp takes it down in time. Santorin made a nice effort. It was a really, really nice try. I thought he played it as well as he could have, but
Yep.
Honestly, Apex played well enough to not let him in. There's only so much you can do against 5 people, and Apex solid enough to make sure that didn't go in. And this is looking so good for Apex.
Yeah, that was a really good barrel there from GBM. He was setting them up by putting it on himself.
Like a Kiwi Kid.
But then Kiwi Kid's off on the right side, and there are traps there. There's no reason to be on that side, but still gets picked off, and then the collapse comes through, and that's the 2 threats right there. OQ picked off, no problem, and then GBM as well. So Ray on this tank Echo, 4-1-7, performing incredibly well in this game. 50 CS up, handed a lot of resources. First blood, but then he also was handed the Rift Herald buff.
All right, well, quick guess cast by Seda, and now we're back into this one here as Apex have taken down triple. I believe it was. I heard Dom. I guess now it's Dom, not Seda. I should take that back. But triple Ocean Drake for Apex. So if they ever do run out of mana, it's back to full quick. Otherwise, though, yeah, I guess it'll feel good for Keen to just never have to run out anymore. Dip out of the minion wave, and it'll go back up quickly enough. Still probably prefer Mountain at this stage of the game, but that's what they got, and they'll have to make use of the regen, and they can overspend mana. GBM looking for the play on the backside, looks for the barrel chain, won't find it onto Apollo. And suddenly, though, he sees Shrimp, he's got Quas around, and again, OQ, I think 3 misses, 2 hits, and only one of them actually mattered when it did. Is Ash actually not paying out for energy?
No, missing over and over again, and he's a large part of how they actually need to start these fights across the map. I was surprised when Ash has hit 6, usually you're throwing that arrow out pretty much as you hit 6, trying to do it in lane, trying to do it across the map.
Santorin come gank, I'll drop a GP, well, let's kill them. And we never saw that come out here. It's not like Caitlyn or Braum were that hard to kill when you land an arrow. You got the base damages there, but never came out of energy. They've only gotten 3 champion kills and 2 turret kills and 1 dragon kill all game long. Not a lot of good things for them. Kiwi get forced around the map. Ray still wants in, and yep, he's got one picked up there. The tank Echo's working out well enough for him. Ult's back in to stay him. He's still gonna die. There will be a shutdown. 1 kill finally on the board for OQ, but top lane for support is not a bad thing, so now it's time for the re-engage, and they could get something done here. The Hemoplague is on, and a big chase coming in. Keen's got to run away. Popsa goes to make that happen. Special kiting out as well. It looks like that Apex can get out with their skin intact. Their gold lead staying at 10,000, they get away.
And Kiwi Kid experiencing what Season 3 was like again when Zyra was popular as support. You're going to get killed by assassins, whether or not they're tank. Incredibly squishy, one of the squishiest characters in our game. Even though he has a little bit of HP from his haunting guys, it really doesn't matter. He's basically paper to Ray. Ray will dive in and kill him pretty much every time if he singles him out. Causes everybody to collapse.
You can see that. Even the snipe from Ash helping, but
yeah, that engage there. Santorin actually dove in there, used his flash to try and interrupt that, when he maybe could have just body slammed in the way, as opposed to actually going straight towards it.
I think he body slam flashed. Like that might have been both.
Yeah, he did. I'm just saying like body slam.
I guess he was going for the setup on the Caitlyn, like trying to I guess ult her back in or something, but
yeah. But I actually want to talk about what happened after that, is because Quas started chasing, had a good engage, and then he pulled back when Keen started walking forward, when he had Hemoplague ready to heal him up. And he was already about 3/4 HP. So I think Quas could have continued to engage and continued to press that. As Apex, if I'm seeing that right, 3 Ocean.
Yeah. Yep.
It's the sea now. They have the sea drakes.
Yep. No,
actually,
they are.
Ocean's much bigger. They just have everything. World drakes.
Yep. I mean, you know, Ocean is what, most of the Earth anyway, so plug in a puny mountain, we can have an ocean. I guess.
True.
I guess. Why not? Then again, can you live without air? Those clouds, you know, those dragons. Pretty important. I don't know, we're talking about the theoretics of which element's more important to the world, but it's Apex.
Clouds are now an element.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. I kind of got off topic pretty quickly there. I'm wrong about all of this, but 35 minutes in, Apex have just been in control the whole time, honestly. It's been just a slow, methodical, you know, take 14 kills, take the dragons, take a Baron occasionally. And Apex have just never lost control of this one. NRG haven't really found interesting things to do. We had Santorin find some nice ganks early on in the game. We had GBM scale up and just be a gangplank. But after 15 minutes, we just, again, NRG seem to have just their batteries drained and they're waiting around to recharge, and the game ends before that happens.
They're waiting to catch up now because their batteries were drained, and now there's just so much power on the side of Apex. Ray, 4 levels up, now 3 levels up over Quas because he hit 18. He's capped right now. There's nowhere he can really go. You can see he's got needlessly large rod in his inventory, looking for a last item to fill out this role. and get himself some damage. And that's what NRG need to do, is they need to stall. They need to just get GBM to 6 items, 6-item gangplank against this composition with the Mortal Reminder on OQ. If they're able to get picks, then they're going to be in a great spot. I definitely think that NRG have a lot of scaling in their favor, but it still is arguable because Swain is incredibly good. You also have the tank Echo, and then Caitlyn. Caitlyn is just a champion you cannot ignore. It's really just the fact that they have Zyra over Braum, and then Gragas versus Lee Sin, really comparable in terms of scaling because they both are okay.
Okay, I would have put Gragas up a little bit, but I trust you as the jungler over my opinion.
Gragas feels really good at kind of this point in the game, and then he's, as you go on, you don't really feel too much better about your items.
Okay.
But I definitely think that a Lee Sin can compensate and be on Gragas' level if he's a good enough player.
Okay. It looks like Shrimp wants to be that player. He's got himself actually locked into the Iron Stellaria now, going towards what's either, actually almost definitely a Black Cleaver at the end of his build here. So
yeah, he went for
bit of damage added in.
He went for the Locket because Xpecial went for the Randuins for the Ashe to reduce that, and also to have the Mikhails for the Ashe Arrow.
Oh, and here we go. Quas slowed down by the Randuins active of Xpecial, speaking of, and Shrimp comes in for the stun. Falls with the Q, but Quas ignited on White, waiting for his Q to come back up so he can get the big heal, but does not dodge the knockup. Xpecial landing it up just right, and saying, here's how you line up people with that Freljord stun, making it happen. A good kill on the Quas, despite his ghost, despite his ulti. And Apex now have a lot of time to work with without an enemy top laner. 40 seconds to push in.
Yeah, and despite that first pick Vladimir here for Quas, it is not working out at all. The first blood, everything that went over to Ray to set him up to get to this point. Now 100 CS up, and he's a complete menace to the side of NRG. Ray can do whatever he wants in this game.
He really can. 5-2 and 7. He is huge right now on this Echo. Even building ability powers, though the nerfs never even happened. More damage than he would have had before. Elder Dragon should be cleaned out of the map easily. NRG not trying to go for a stall move and play for Baron at the same time as Elder Dragon. They slowly walked to that side of the map. Seemed like the vision wasn't good enough to know that play was even happening. Santorin takes a Rift Scuttle.
Yep.
He gets some vision over Baron, but even that, I think they still have to concede it.
Yep. As Apex, I don't even think you have to back after that. You have triple Ocean with Elder.
Good region now at this point.
So they just back to purchase. You should head straight towards that Baron if you're Apex. And NRG, they have to know it, but are you going to fight a 3-stack plus Elder Dragon comp? I feel like the window is closing.
Honestly, it is. And I mean, the thing is, this game has never felt like NRG was really trying to get back in. We just saw their attempts to fight too few and far between. The excuse they're playing a scaling comp doesn't seem to matter because no matter what champions you are, they're not winning these team fights. They're losing the game before 40 minutes in, and maybe they do get that miracle comeback, but I mean, they came back from 11,000 down at this stage of the game before, so I guess there's the chance, but I don't see GBM making those kinds of plays again. Looking for the ulti to delay some as Apex will kite away from there, and they don't want to have to deal with this because, yes, NRG are coming in. They need some kind of huge team fight that turns the game around, but right in they go. Yet again, Apex pushing into this one. The Ocean Drake killing them unless they take damage from a champion. So they are healing as they're walking forward. Now here comes a push on in, a flash to get away from Braum's attempted engage. Keeping it on the backline by himself, literally engaging as support. And Asher, a point blank on Shrimp means nothing. OQ drops as well. The bottom lane's dead. Next up is Santorin. He's going to flash and body slam out, but all he's doing is really buying time till die later because Quas is now left alone. He cannot get away from this one. Pops Azonia's. He's still an eventual death. The heal, yeah, that's nice, but he finally does go down. Apollo is unstoppable on this Caitlyn. 5-0 and 4 on him. And at this point, take the 5v2, take the push to the base.
Yep.
You don't need to go for Baron, but they choose to.
Exactly. There's 50 seconds on Quas, so they're still going to go for the Baron. They're still going to go for having even more.
Apex are trying to convince everyone to pick them in fantasy. Guys, we're going to stack so many dragons, we're going to stack the Barons. Pick us, trust us. We're going to make sure we get 11 turrets every game.
Isn't Saint the guy who said screw your fantasy and would like tower dive at the end of games?
That's right. But now he's not in game, right? No matter how much he coaches this team, it's up to how they want to do this.
He's going to be angry about this.
Yeah, this is the sticking point now. How do you kill a Baron and make your fans feel better for picking you in fantasy? But the knockup is in, and down he goes. Keen is unstoppable. Santorin is dead. Into the inhibitors they go. Mid lane turret is gone. Continued push. Big shield up for Ray. and we'll see what's next for them. It's the bottom lane. It's a snipe on towards OQ. Loses half his health for that one. Just the ulti out of Caitlyn, and down goes that turret. Keen is happy to tank the turret. He does not seem to care at all. He's got the health regen. They've got the triple stacked Ocean Drake. The health bar is going to go back up pretty quickly, to be honest. And out they go, walking back to the right side. But they will not close the game out just yet. They've got more turrets to kill the top lane. There's still a turret alive. They got to get that one first.
I was actually very surprised that that Baron fight even happened. It had to be really forced by APX, because NRG, they were able to get them off of the Baron, and you just keep doing that. Because Elder Dragon's 2 minutes long. It's basically 1/4 duration left at this point. It has only 30 seconds left, and then it's like, okay. And then Kiwi Kid comes through and says, I'm going to root and try to kill Apollo. And then, boom, they come through. Shrimp tries to get engaged, and then everybody's just flanking at this point. So they walked a little too far up, and didn't pull out at the right time. Because if they had all gone at one direction, Kiwi would have been able to close off the choke point.
And this speaks to the problem of NRG as a team. If Kiwi Kid's the only one flanking, what is going on in that team anymore? It's not supposed to be Zyra's job. At some point, you've got to kill the squishies, but clearly Santor and Quas and GBM aren't doing it. Now we get one, maybe final team fight. OQ's dead. He had nowhere to go. A nice kick back by Griff to make that happen. Going for broke, but it might just be broke anyway. Special running low on health. GBM does pick one up, and maybe NRG turn it around, but Ray's already picked off the mid lane. There's no carries left for NRG, honestly. They're losing members left, right, and center. Quas, last one up, pops the Sanguine Pool. That's cute and all. He gets a couple of damage dealt, but it's a double kill for Apollo. Only the support is dead. The inhibitors are gone. They're not going to kill the top turret. Sorry, fantasy owners, you're missing a turret kill here in this one, but you're still going to be happy to have a 2-0 for Apex in their first series of the LCS. Come out with a 2-0 win, and NRG plummeting down the standings.
And NRG start off 0-2 in series. And that squad, you have to start saying, you know, they look like upgrades on paper, except for that top lane. Where was Quas? And as the weeks progress, where is this squad? Where do they sit? Are they still a playoff team? Because Apex might have just taken their spot and proved that they are a team that the hype that St. Vicious has been giving them might be real.
I think the hype is pretty real. I liked Apex overall as a team. I liked what I saw from Ray. No matter what started out in the games, he certainly came out swinging by the end.